5 minutes here.
We're so glad you could attend. Come inside, come inside. There behind the glass stands a real blade of grass. Be careful as you pass. Move along, move along. Come inside, the show's about to start. Guaranteed to blow your head apart.
And now, with a preview of tonight's game and a look at what's happening at the ballpark, it's time for the Ameren, Illinois and ActonEnergy.com pregame show. Let's send it down to the field and check in with the voice of the Chiefs, Nathan Baliva.
Thank you, Brett, and welcome to Dozer Park. We get ready to take on the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers. I've got my PeoriaMagazines.com interview today in front of our dugout. Let's give a big Peoria welcome to Sergeant Slaughter. How you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Doing great. Thanks for joining us here today. 80s night. We are ready to go with Thursday 80s night. I got the Miami Vice part of the 80s going. You got your 80s outfit.
Got the camouflage on, but that's a color you wear since I guess we were born.
That's right.
Yeah.
Ready to go with that 80s night. You were in your heyday in the 80s.
I was. We had the Iron Sheik running around the country and tried to catch up for all the things that happened to us with Iran, with the hostage situation, and the Black Hawk going down, and the killing of the Marines at the embassy, and Ayatollah Khomeini. So it was time for Sergeant Slaughter in the United States to try to get some payback, because we never really did. So I challenged him to a war in the wrestling ring, the squared circle, and the rest is history.
That's right, and good history there as well.
Yes.
Yeah, got that covered, and you got some help. You definitely got some help throughout the 80s against the Iron Sheik.
Yes. We were, as I was telling my friend Mike on the way over here from the airport, there were times when we wrestled 12 times in a week.
Woo. Because
of the weekends, 2-3 shows on a Saturday, or 2-3 shows on a Sunday, and television, and being in a place like Peoria at 7 o'clock and being in Chicago at 10 o'clock. So you just never knew.
The way it took off in the 80s is we were on 80s night, and everything really seemed like it took off in the 80s with WrestleMania and all that stuff launching. Now you look back on it, 30-some years later. Are you surprised about where it's gone? Is it kind of maybe what you expected?
I would have been surprised with anybody else but Vince McMahon. I think that Vince McMahon just had the vision. He had the cable, he had the pay-per-view. I'm surprised. I guess if we could, we'd be on the moon having a pay-per-view. He'll probably bypass the moon and go to Mars because there's little life on there. But nothing surprises me with the WWE and Mr. McMahon. All the other promoters just tried to get by, but he just wanted to go where no wrestler had gone before.
And now you get to travel around and visit all the fans, places like Peoria. You go to Augusta next. I know seeing your Twitter over the last few days, all the different places you've been around here, and interacting with the fans has got to be a real treat for you.
It is. You don't get much chance at a wrestling arena to sit down and meet your fans and meet your friends and people that you met I want to admit 40 years ago. November will be my 40th year in professional wrestling, but I see the pictures that come by when somebody was a little boy and I had him in a Cobra clutch or had him in a body slam, and there he is with his son or his grandson sometimes showing me this was my hero when I was growing up. I wanted to be your hero. So it's really great because of the memorabilia and all the merchandise from not only the WWE and my history in wrestling, but G.I. Joe. I was the only living G.I. Joe figure in its world at that time. So, it's just fun to see all these things that come through, things that I haven't seen, like I said, in 40 years.
That's exactly where I was going next. We were talking about 80s night, looking up all the things. A lot of our employees, the interns, the college kids, they weren't alive in the 80s like exactly. I was and like you were. So we educate them on the 80s, and we're showing off the G.I. Joe stuff up there today. And as you mentioned, the only living G.I. Joe, how cool is that?
It was a pretty cool deal because when I started researching it, it was always animated. Yeah. And the voices for about 4 or 5 characters was done by one person. And here I am, alive, living G.I. Joe and doing the commercials and going to hospitals toy stores around the country and meeting children and just being the ambassador for G.I. Joe and Hasbro toys. It was just a remarkable thing, not only here in the United States, but it was all over the world. I went to Japan one time. I remember a young boy, there was a stand of G.I. Joe Sergeant Slaughter Triple T tanks, and I snuck up behind him, and I just kind of waited for him to turn around, and he looked at me, and then he looked at me, and he ran to go get his mom to show her that Sergeant Slaughter, the real life Sergeant Slaughter, was there. So I snuck behind a couple of pillars, and he came back and he was telling her that I was there, but I wasn't there, and she said, "No, you're." And then she left, and I snuck up behind him again and tapped him on the shoulder, and he just ran. He left. It was fun.
Having fun all over the world and getting to travel to some pretty cool places. That's got to be a nice perk of everything you've done. You mentioned 40 years coming up. I imagine you've been just about everywhere.
Right. What's great now is I'm the ambassador for the WWE, and I do a lot of work for charities, MDA, Make-A-Wish, Special Olympics, and go to a lot of children's hospitals, veterans hospitals, visit the troops here in the United States, overseas, especially the veterans hospitals. When you see a veteran laying in a bed and he's trying to crawl out of his rack and stand up and give you a salute, you know you've impacted them, and they're all very happy to see you. And unfortunately, I have to go there to see them, but it's part of what I do, and it breaks my heart when I leave. But while I'm there, I try to be as strong as I can, and just try to give back and say thank you, not only to the military, but to everybody that, I've been in hospitals visiting children, and a gentleman came up to me one time and said, "I know you're here for the children, but my wife is trying to give birth to our son, and he won't come out. Would you go up and give him some orders?" So I startled the heck out of her, and 2 days later, the hospital called me and said, "Congratulations, they had a boy, and they named him Sarge."
Nice.
So,
very nice work.
Cool.
Yeah, that's good to get all those stories and get to go over and it brings some happiness to the days of some of those kids that are in the hospital, the veterans, as you mentioned. Now, I know part of what you're doing here tonight, you'll be signing some autographs. You'll be giving some orders and mostly having fun. Yeah,
we're going to give away autographs, headlocks, Cobra clutches. I hope everybody comes by and brings their cameras. We'll get you in a Cobra clutch. It makes a great Christmas card. But just say hello and meet everybody that is able to come by. I know we got a baseball game going on, and I'm the biggest baseball fan of all, but I'm going to go have a little chat and make sure that the Chiefs are going to win this one. We can't have another loss just like a few minutes ago, so we got to have a victory over those Timber Rattlers.
I think they'll take your pep talk, and you ready for your first pitch, too?
I hate to see them have to do some push-ups, but I'm going to warm up the old arm. I told them put me down as a designated possibility of a pitch hitter, but I don't think we'll have to worry about that.
If you don't throw a strike, who tells you to do push-ups?
I do.
You do? You tell yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, that's how it works. Well, we thank you very much for being with us in Peoria, giving us some time up here in the pregame show. I know you want to get in there and cheer up the guys, get them going, and we appreciate you being here.
No push-ups for you.
No, thank you. I appreciate that. All right, Sergeant Slaughter, thank you very much for joining us here today, 80s night. He'll be up on the concourse signing autographs. I think Katie and Mike will get him all set up. We appreciate it. Stick around, have some fun, enjoy the Thirsty Thursday. Make sure you go up there and get your picture taken with Sergeant Slaughter. We appreciate you being here with us on a Thursday night at Dozer Park.
Go Chiefs.